Welcome back to the Cruise Dynasty podcast, doing it again, continuing that redraft. Put the pause on that dynasty shit, that dynasty bullshit. Redraft back at it again. Thanks for listening to the last episode where we broke down these running backs in depth, A1 analysis from the crew. But we're talking quarterbacks tonight. Craftman in the building as always. What's up, Craftman?
You know, doing the same old thing. And that running back episode, I really enjoyed it. Everybody go back, take a listen to it. We gave some deep analysis. After about the first, 8 running backs, shit started getting real. So
A little spicy.
Yeah, it was getting real, but we hitting quarterbacks tonight. Maybe we'll agree on some things. It'll probably be like the running back episode where the first couple will be good, and then after that, we're going to have a little disagreement. So
we got Ian in the building. Potty Poopa. What it do, Ian?
What's up? My man, Matty Cruz, my boy, Austin Crizzy.
Oh, cousin.
We're in here just recording podcasts like nonstop, talking about this shit coming up. Can't wait for football to start. And we're trying to guys the inside scoop from some people that don't do this for the money. We don't do this because we think we're cool. We do this because we have fun doing this. And we know about stuff because we watch this stuff. So listen up and you might learn something.
If you think about it, how could we be cool? We talking about fake football. I don't know. We don't think we cool now. I don't think. Kraft, you think you're cool? I don't really feel cool.
I mean, I tell the wife all the time. I'm like, I just come out here to talk with the guys to get this shit out of my system, so I don't bother her ass all fucking day.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah. But yeah, Ian's right, man. We ain't doing this for big bucks or anything. We just want to put out a good show and. Just we do fantasy. That's just what we do. Dynasty, redraft, we doing it all. Some gambling content. Football season's almost upon us. We've already had the little Hall of Fame game. Haven't watched one of those in years because I don't really care about it. But let's just go ahead and get right into it, man. We go into quarterbacks. Like Kraft said, some of this stuff is consistent. So I know at number 1, we got Patrick Mahomes. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Jalen Hurts. That's consensus pretty much everywhere from what I've seen. Best ball, redraft. Maybe some people got those 3 in a different order, but Dynasty. So that's pretty much all day. What you got to say, Kraft? Anything to say?
No, them guys are just freaking great. Every single one of them.
If you pick anybody,
I guess my main question to y'all is, Ian, if we're going to do tier-based rankings, I got Mahomes and Allen in a tier by themselves. I know a lot of people would have Mahomes, Allen, Hurts in a tier. So what do you think? Do you think Jalen Hurts is in that tier with them guys, or is he a tier below?
I think that Patrick Mahomes is in a tier by himself, and Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are in a tier amongst each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
I would probably say Mahomes, and I'm just gonna be honest. I'll just throw them all 3 in a tier. I mean, I would feel good with all of them. I guess my question is are you willing to draft these guys in the mid-second, early third rounds of your redraft leagues? I feel like I'm not that kind of guy.
I mean, it really depends on what you got. Me and Ian were sitting there talking the other day, and I never do this, but I'm sitting here picking at the number 9 spot. And I'm telling him, if Kelsey makes it to me, I could really start off the draft with Kelsey and get Mahomes on the way back. And that would be
big stacks.
But I don't think I got the balls to do that.
Because what's your reasoning?
My reason is because it's just safety. Really, you're going to get the best quarterback in the league, and you're going to get the best tight end in the league, and you're already beating every other team in that. I mean, in the league at those two positions. And this year in particular, I like the 3rd, 4th, 5th round running backs. So
yeah,
but how many teams win with Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce or either or both?
Look, we did the numbers.
They don't.
I was about to say it's not too high.
They don't.
And the reason why is because I like the pocket of the 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks in those rounds. I mean, you can even throw Justin Fields in that mix. But Trevor Lawrence, Herbert going in the 5th and the 6th, Deshaun in the 8th, something like that. Tua even lower, if you want to go even lower than that. I mean, some good quarterbacks.
I guess one thing I got to say based on that is just understand the people you're playing with. I've been telling Ian, we've been playing with the same guys in the Yahoo League for 6 or 7 years now, and I done told them, shoot, them 3 quarterbacks we just mentioned are probably all going to be gone in the 2nd. They're probably not even going to make it to the 3rd. And you just got to know your league, and you got to play. You just got to play the game. If everybody's taking quarterbacks early, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to jump in on the wagon. Right. That just means that there's going to be better players left for you, right? If you don't want to take them guys early.
All right, well, we're pretty much in agreement. That was a nice little discussion. I felt like I didn't know if we was going to talk this long about those 3 guys. I'm glad we got tiers. We got redraft, where you drafting them. But yeah, Kraft, you got go ahead and name off the next few.
Well, as far as our consensus goes, we got Joe Burrow at number 4. Matt disagrees with that. He's the only one that didn't have Burrow at 4. Who'd you have at 4?
I got Justin Herbert at 4 because I'm all in on Herbert. But yeah, Joe Burrow. I mean, I'm not hating on him or anything. How can you? Joe Burrow's great. So
well, you got another guy ahead of him also.
Yeah, I got Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence is great too. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence, he's the main guy. I think maybe Herbert too. I'll put it like this. Herbert to me just feels like he's just a tier below the Mahomes, Allen, I guess Hurts too. But to me, it feels like there's an opportunity for Herbert, who I feel like was already kind of in that tier, and Lawrence, who I think has the potential to hop in there. I feel like those 2 guys could possibly, and I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like Justin Fields could possibly. I'm not the biggest guy on Justin Fields, but I would be stupid to not recognize that his upside is there, and he could possibly get up in there in that tier 1 of these guys. But it's nothing to hate on Joe Burrow about. It's like like last year, his ADP was 4. He finished 4th. I mean, Joe Burrow is fucking great, but I'm probably not going to draft him in the 4th round or anything like that. And I just feel like Trevor Lawrence, his ceiling could be a little bit higher, especially this year. He broke out last year. They add Calvin Ridley. A lot of people are buying into the Calvin Ridley. Justin Herbert, Kellen Moore coming in there. They're going to be throwing the ball like crazy. I'm all in on Justin Herbert, to be honest with you.
Yep. I don't disagree with you at all. I have Burrow ranked over Herbert, but I pretty much just said just throw away last season. Herbert was a QB2 2 years ago. We know this guy can throw for 40 touchdowns and close to 5,000 yards, and maybe his rushing upside and around the goal line comes back up than it did last year. I mean, he had broken ribs, and all his receivers were out.
Right.
So don't disagree with Herbert, but with Trevor Lawrence, I mean, what you're hoping for with Trevor Lawrence is pretty much that he ends up being Joe Burrow, right?
I think he could be. I think talent-wise, he's better than Joe Burrow. I think his rushing upside is better. He had 5 rushing touchdowns just last year. I think that could go up, be even a little bit more. They just added another weapon into the mix. I mean, to me, it just feels like it's more plausible that these guys get better than before I would see them decline. I mean, I know they started off rough, but they've finished it off strong, and to me, it just feels like the momentum's there. Another year with these guys. To me, it just seems like Trevor Lawrence could be that guy that what he was drafted to be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got him at 5. I mean, I ain't like got him up there at 2 or 3 or something.
But you have him over Burrow.
I'm just saying, I feel like Trevor Lawrence's ceiling is just higher. Joe Burrow's great. I mean, he's great. It just doesn't feel like he can hop in that tier with those top 3 guys where it just feels like Herbert, Lawrence, Justin Fields. Some people would even say Lamar Jackson could hop up in there.
So you're saying if Burrow and Lawrence had the same ADP, and you're looking at them, say 5th round, you're taking Lawrence?
I feel like I would take Lawrence. I would say the only reason I wouldn't is because his weapons. I mean, Joe Burrow's weapons are way better, but Trevor Lawrence has got. I feel like people underestimate his rushing upside a little bit. I'm not saying he's flying around the field. He isn't like Fields or
more than Burrow.
More than Burrow, and I like Burrow. I mean, I feel like some of the guys that go hit me up thinking I'm crazy, but I'm just saying I just like what Herbert and Lawrence specifically are bringing to the table this season.
I mean, it's pretty hot take to rank him over Burrow, but I don't think it's outlandish or anything. I mean, I think Lawrence is going to take another big step up this year, and they got Calvin Ridley. As much as we've talked about him, he's still another weapon they added to the offense.
Right.
So, he could have a massive year, and the Jaguars' defense ain't very good.
No.
So they're going to have to keep pace with all these other teams. And like we said about the AFC South, they play the other AFC South, and then they play the NFC South. So,
yep. And Joe Burrow's up there grinding it out in the AFC North with all those bangers, playing a little bit of cold weather.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence ain't really dealing with that neither. It's just, I put it like this. If Trevor Lawrence don't take a step, like if he regresses this year, I don't really see T-Law. I'll rank him lower than, you won't see me ranking him this high and stuff like that. Because this year is just perfectly made, especially after a year that you just did what you did. T-Law.
Massive step up, and it's probably going to continue. So, and Doug Peterson, he made Carson Wentz look great, and Nick Foles look great.
So exactly.
I ain't gonna say I'm with you, but I don't.
Oh yeah, you buying aircraft, man? You buying it?
When I seen your rankings, the only thing I thought of was Matt's a Clemson fan. That's it.
I knew you would think something was crazy about that, but I thought you might think I was crazy about Justin Herbert being at 4 because I feel like a lot of people are lower on Herbert, but not me.
Not me either. I mean, I got Herbert ranked a little lower than these guys, but damn, he's a special talent. And Kellen Moore coming in there, he made Dak Prescott look great.
Yeah.
So, fantasy-wise, I mean, Dak Prescott was still throwing interceptions left and right, but, Justin Herbert, with the weapons he got, Quentin Johnston and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, not in that specific order.
They're going to slang the rock.
Austin Eckler out of the backfield. They're going to throw the ball around the yard. I mean, just look at the offense. Like you said, like we just named. Eckler, we just named it on the last episode. He's not really a run in between the tackles type of running back, and they don't really have that on their team.
Right.
They're going to throw the ball around the yard this year as long as everybody stays healthy, which is a big question mark.
Agreed. All right, so who we got? Oh, Potty Pooper has seemed to have left us. We'll see if he pops back in.
He's partying poop. I mean, he's pooping parties right now. That's what he's doing.
So basically, the next guys we're gonna talk about is Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields, and I got Lamar Jackson at 7. I'm really not hating on Lamar Jackson either. I'm actually feel good about Lamar Jackson too. They bring in Todd Monken. They just drafted a wide receiver. Zay Flowers getting a lot of hype this year. They bring in Odell. This is funny, crap. I was thinking about about Odell. He's making $13 million this year or whatever, and you got guys like Austin Eckler making like 1.8 mil or something like that. So to me, that junk is hilarious. But Baltimore, Lamar, they gonna spread it open. The offense was fine. It used to be fine with Greg Roman, but things play out, and it's time to change things up. And now they're about to spread it out. And this is one thing that I say it all the time, that I never agreed with the narrative of Lamar Jackson. People act like he's inaccurate and can't make throws and stuff like that. I say hibbity hoobla to that shit. The dude can clearly make the throws.
Yeah.
He's got weapons. He's got Mark Andrews, his main guy. I'd be high on every one of those guys. Or not high on every one of those guys, but I'll be high on Mark Andrews this season. He's going in the third round and stuff. I guess my thing is Lamar Jackson, he's going in the fourth round, and I would just prefer to pass on that.
I mean, I wouldn't. Talking about tight ends, I'd take Mark Andrews in the third if it's pretty late. I think I'd take Mark Andrews, but Zay Flowers is a great player. I mean, this is one of the guys that when we did our rookie film we did episodes on, I thought he was pretty much the best receiver in the class outside of a JSN. And he just went to probably not the best spot. But Lamar, Todd Monken coming in, I would not be surprised at all if Lamar stays healthy. And I really think that's the reason that he is behind these guys. It's just because of the last 2 years he hasn't played a full season. But Lamar could easily finish as the QB1, no doubt, this year. Not a doubt in my mind. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, man. I'm big on Lamar this year too, dude. Zay Flowers going there, I feel like that's a huge upgrade. I mean, Rashad Bateman's been there. He's a first round pick back in the day. I mean, you got Odell Beckham. He's got people to throw to. But yeah, I feel like Zay Flowers could break out, and I feel like Lamar is poised to have a good year. I mean, he's been an MVP back in the day, and I feel like this year is his year to either shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean? Like, he's either going to do good this year or we're never going to draft him again.
If he gets hurt again this year, it's going to be a
real. I'm with in on that one. If something goes down this year, it's going to be tough to be talking about drafting Lamar Jackson.
It's going to be like a Russell Wilson thing.
So, all right, we got Justin Fields up here. I got him at 8th. I know Ian's got him at 4 or 5, I believe. Kraft, where you got Justin Fields?
That's 7.
7. So it's another thing. All 8 of these guys we talked about, I could rank them each another way, except for maybe them top 3. But 4 through 8, it's tough. I'm not hating on Justin Fields. Justin Fields was fucking great last year, especially rushing the ball. They bring in DJ Moore. Cole Kmet just signed a 4-year deal or whatever. He's locked in. Brought in Chase Claypool with that 32nd overall pick or whatever. So the weapons are just automatically better. Darnell Mooney's your second or third guy. I mean, I think Justin Fields could take a step up. I've never been the biggest Justin Fields guy, but I did just take him in that Superflex startup. I think there's a possibility he could be the overall quarterback 1, or he could be what he was last year at like 7 or 8. So, what you think, Crab Man?
I mean, I like Justin Fields. I like his upside. I know he's came out and said that he can throw for 4,000 yards this year. I don't think I would. That ain't happening. But he was in the low 2,000s last year, so maybe 3,000 yards. But 1,200 rushing yards is going to be hard to come by again. I want to say I was listening to a podcast. I'm not sure which one it was, but they were saying his line for the year is 1,000 rushing yards, and I think I would take the under on that because he's not going to rush as much as he did last year. He's got more weapons.
Yeah.
They believe in him a little bit more. They don't want him to get injured. But one thing I do love about Justin Fields that I've seen and kind of going to the end path right now is everything I've seen about Justin Fields. He's a hard worker. He plays hard, and he he just seems like he wants to be great. So I like that. I like to see that in him. But this is another guy that could really break out this year. He is actually the leading bet in Vegas odds to win MVP right now.
I can see that.
Well, what do you think about Justin Fields right now, Ian?
Yeah, man, I'm pretty big on Justin Fields this year, dude. And it's not because I got him on Dynasty, but it's hard not to be biased. But and when you have people on Dynasty, like a lot of times you really don't want to draft them in the redraft because you kind of want different players, this, that, and the other. But he's kind of an outlier on that, dude. Like I really do feel like he's gonna have a good year this year. And when you listen to him talk, I mean, he got an upgrade at receiver, you know, with DJ Moore. Like you said, they signed Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet finished like the number 7, number 9 tight end last year. Like sleepy good tight end. And they got an upgraded offensive line. I mean, they're all in on Justin Fields. You know, Justin Fields is all in on them. He's one of those players that goes home and fucking studies every night. He's a pescatarian, like just eats fish. Like this man, I don't know. He's somebody I'm excited for. That's for sure. And I feel like this year is his year to break out. And I also feel the same way about Trevor Lawrence. Like I feel like both of them are primed for breakout years.
Yeah. One thing I gotta say about Justin Fields, and shout out to the footballers. I downloaded the UDK, so I got a lot of stuff on that. Maybe one day we're gonna find us somebody who can create an app and get all down with this. But talking about Justin Fields, he did finish outside of the QB2 at 26% last year. We're talking about Mahomes, Allen, Jalen Hurts. They never finished outside of QB2 at all last year. Mahomes and Allen both finished as a QB 1 to 6 last year. So top half, 70% for Mahomes, 75% for Allen, 80% for Jalen Hurts. Only 33% for Justin Fields as a QB 1 to 6. So Justin Fields might be a guy who could bust.
He could bust.
I mean, he's not the same as these other guys we've been talking about. The MVP talk is a little bogus because you have to have a good team to win MVP. And the Bears probably aren't going to be one of them, 10, 11 win teams. But the rushing upside is there. If he can jump between touchdowns, I think he had like 17 last year. If he can get up to mid-20s, 30 passing touchdowns, he's going to finish close to the top 5 in fantasy quarterbacks.
Yep. So we all in on Justin Fields. Those top eight guys. Justin Fields and being drafted in the 4th round, not too bad for me. I would consider it. I would still wait, but I would rather draft Justin Fields in the 4th than Lamar in the 4th, I feel like. But that's a tough call, really, though. But all right, man. Let's start disagreeing a little bit, man. Those top 8, we done kissed their ass enough. They're all great. So we'll start off at number 9. We'll just go ahead and start it off. I got the NFL's Bill Cosby. I got Deshaun Watson in the building. My man. Deshaun Watson is really, once you get past those 8 guys, he's really the only guy who has the upside to go get him in my opinion, the only guy who could go get like a top 5 season or whatever in him. These other guys that we'll talk about later, they're good. Deshaun Watson.
Don't start. Tua can't finish top 5.
Come on, man.
Listen, I like Tua. I got him at 10, man. I don't know, man. 5? Maybe he could. I might could throw Tua up in there.
The only reason I got Deshaun Watson anywhere near Tua is because of his offensive line. I mean, Deshaun Watson's got the talent, and that's why he's up there. But you got to show me something, man. You ain't played football in a while, man. You got to show me something.
Well, see, I agree with that. That's why I got him at 9. and not something crazy at like 4
I
or
feel that.
5 or something.
Yeah, I feel that.
But gonna have Nick Chubb, got a great O-line. They're gonna spread it out this year. I think everybody's just putting in a little too much stock in those last few games where the dude didn't play all year. But dude's got a, until like the last week of 12 or 13 when he finally came back and played. Like, man, you're not gonna be good, especially at the quarterback position. But with that said, that there's one thing that holds me back, Crafts. One thing that would hold me back, and that is because it's the Browns, bro. This is the Browns. Like, this is what they do. It's like the same thing with how it's hard for me
He said this
to.
is the Browns.
It's like organizations like that shit fucking matters. Like,
It does.
it's like one thing I say with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Like,
Look at the
everything
Bengals.
looks
The
good.
Bengals turned it around.
Yes, I agree. The Bengals did. And, they got that quarterback and got lucky, or not lucky. They got lucky that they got a great quarterback and it's worked out. That's what the Browns are trying to do. It's like the same thing with the Jets over here, like Aaron Rodgers. They're the Jets. Like, I don't
They're
know.
not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
No. And I think they could possibly not live up to the hype. But it's like I said, these are the
Definitely
Browns.
can't live up to the hype.
So, I don't know.
That's for a different day.
The Browns are the Browns. So that would be the thing. But, I mean, your boy Mark Hooper's in the building. Cedric Tillman's making some noise in camp. Elijah Moore, I kind of buy into Elijah Moore.
He's sleepy.
Especially,
he's sleepy.
Yeah, definitely a cheap buy in Dynasty. Well, I say that, but if you try, I don't know, man.
You can't get them.
You can't get them because if you offer a second, you can't get them, and you're not going to pay a first. So, but with that said, the Browns, we'll just see how it goes. The division ain't easy, Deshaun Watson ain't played in cold weather. That dude's been down here in the South and then played in the Dome. Now he's about to be in Ohio. So those are my negatives. But other than that, the talent, the dude was great for all those years. He's been out of commission for a couple. But D. Watt, number 9.
Yeah, I got him at QB 16. So I'm the lowest on Deshaun Watson. It has nothing to do with his personal shit that he had going on.
I don't even care about
Nobody
that
said
shit.
it did.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that, but it's the
Nobody
fact.
said it did.
Sounds like the woke mod came and got my guy D. Watt. That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, Crab.
I mean, you pretty much just
he got himself.
Explain the reason why I don't like him. He's playing in cold weather. He's not used to it. He looked absolutely terrible. Jacoby Brissett put that motherfucker in a body bag last year. If you compare the two, and I understand he hasn't played in a while, but that's the main reason. We sit here and talk about. We have a whole episode about Calvin Ridley not playing in a while, and we hate on him. But you got a quarterback who has to know what he's doing, plus everybody else on the team is doing the most important position on the field, and he hasn't played in a while. And he just got the bag. He doesn't.
When he was playing,
he doesn't even have.
When he was playing, he was elite, and that's the only reason I got him ranked so high. Because when he was playing, and when he did know, he was elite. But he's in a new offense on a new scheme. He's had a whole off season to learn everything. But you got to prove it to me. I'm not putting you above Tua. No way.
Well, like, the only thing I'll say about that Russ thing is hopefully he just shook off at the end of last year. There ain't no...
I don't even like Prescott.
I mean, no way I'm putting him behind Prescott. That's crazy.
I got Dak at number 9 and Deshaun at number 16.
Man.
And we'll see what happens. But Deshaun... I mean,
I got Dak at 10 and Deshaun at 11.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, Deshaun. I'm sorry, buddy, but you hadn't shown me anything after taking a year and a half off. And like Matt said, it's the Browns, man. It's the fucking Browns. And you got Nick Chubb there who you can ride. So it's tough to rank him that high.
All right, so next I say we just go ahead and talk about well, let's just talk about it. Well, heck, man, I end up hopped off again or whatever. I really want to talk about Dax, but just go ahead and talk about I got Tua. I feel like we're kind of in the same boat. I got Tua at 10. Where you got Tua at, Kraft?
11.
Oh, so I'm higher on Tua.
Yeah, you're higher on. Yeah, you're higher on Tua. I was just this was just a guy that I was saying that could finish in the top 5, 6, just because of the weapons he has. And I was talking, Ian done left, of course, but I was talking to him about it. He is the only quarterback in this whole entire, the ADP scene of the redraft where you take two of the receivers in the first 2 rounds. You're taking Tyreek and Jalen Waddle in the first 2 rounds without even thinking about it. But you're taking Tua really late. I mean, it makes no sense to me. Like, look at, all right, you got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, all right, Jalen Hurts, okay? You got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. You're taking Joe Burrow early. How can these receivers perform without the quarterback performing to that point? So if you believe in Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, you might as well fucking believe in Tua.
I'm looking at Tua's game log right now, and I've already made the decision. I'm moving him ahead of Deshaun Watson because I do remember last year, Tua was fucking great last year. I think the only question about Tua is just his concussion thing. I don't really buy in that he's about to retire. I just can't buy into something like that. But, man, Kraft, look at this game log that I'm looking at. We're like 16 points, 57. Then we got like 35, 30, 29, 20, 22. I mean, damn, Tua was fucking good last year. The only thing is he can't play a full season. That's the only thing. But I mean, I remember we was having talks about Tua last year in high regards, even as far as Dynasty went last year. Because Tua was under the gun last year. Like, he had a lot of pressure on him last year. I think he more than lived up to that hype. The offense is just a good offense. Mike Daniels over there. He's got Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. They're fast as fuck.
Yeah, and that's my main argument is if you're drafting them receivers that early, like if you're a Jalen Waddle lover, you got to be a Tua lover because I had Jalen Waddle last year, and when Tua didn't play, he was god awful. Jalen Waddle was not even a top 36 receiver when Tua didn't play. So if you're willing to draft Jalen Waddle in the second round, you might as well be damn straight that you can draft Tua wherever the fuck he's going in ADP, which is you probably can get him in the 8th round, 9th round at this point.
Crap, man. Riddle me this one real quick, though. I'm looking at his game log. Week 2, he was the quarterback 2 and scored 57 points. So did Lamar have 60 that week, or is that what happened? Because that shit right there is insane.
Did Lamar finish first?
I mean, it had to be Lamar. I mean, I know they was in that big old shootout or whatever.
I can actually see it right here. Quarterback won. The quarterback won during week 2 was Lamar Jackson.
Yep. So crazy. Tua was just awesome. All right, well, let's just move on, man. Let's talk about old Dak Prescott. Listen, I ain't even a Dak hater. I got him like right appropriate, just average Dak Prescott. Like, to me, if this was super flex and he was my QB2, I'd feel great about having him. But
yeah,
Dak is he's just so vanilla. You know what I'm saying to me? Like, he ain't.
He's the Najee Harris of quarterbacks, man.
Yeah, it's not sexy. I got him at 12. You got him at 10. He's got him.
I got him at 9
or 11. You got him at 9, and Ian's got him at 10. Okay, so we kind of in the same range.
I think after the episode, after we talked about Tua, I think I'm gonna have to move him up.
Yeah, man.
I mean, really, the more I get to talking about it, because sitting here saying, the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle thing, I mean, Tua's there's no doubt he's going to be great. The Dolphins actually have. I was looking it up. They got the worst schedule for running backs this year, and they threw the ball to receivers pretty much more than anybody last year, except for Philly. So, man, Tua, it's just the concussions, man. It's just tough.
I mean, Tua's going in the 9th, 10th round in best ball right now. I mean, Tua, I got to add Tua into the mix on quarterbacks that I'm going to be looking at to draft. If I can't get those guys I want in the 5th round, I'd wait till the 8th or 9th round to try to get old Tua.
But how many quarterbacks? Right. I mean, he had 2 concussions last year. Can you name another quarterback that got a concussion? Just one?
Last year? I can't say, but I'm sure somebody did. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Is like, it's not that common. What are the chances that it could happen again? I can't name a quarterback that had a concussion other than Tua. last year, and that's counting the rushing quarterbacks.
It's just I'm with you. It's just it just seems very unlikely that the man retires because of some concussions. I just don't know. It just seems I got to see it to believe it. I would still be risking whatever on Tua at this point. Dynasty, redraft, I would still roll forward, but there's definitely a risk. There ain't no doubt about it.
I don't even think Tua's that great. I just think his weapons are that damn good.
I'll say this. I was a believer in Tua coming out of college and stuff like that. I never really thought he was sorry. Me and Phil rubbing off on me.
I do think the Dolphins got figured out a little bit last year, though. The first half of the year when he was healthy, Tua loves to throw the ball over the middle of the field. And once they started forcing him to throw it outside the numbers, against the Packers, I think he threw 3 interceptions. The teams were starting to figure him out a little bit. So that's another bit of caution that I have against Tua. But we've been talking about Tua for a while. What are we moving on to Dak right now?
Yeah, I forgot. Heck, it don't matter. We just count me in Kraft.
We just fucking forgot, dude. We just forgot about him altogether.
Yep, just count me and Kraft in on Tua, and then the Dak is just vanilla. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't think Dak is gonna lose you a league, but I don't think he's actually gonna go out there and win it. But Dak's probably going in the 10th round, so I would, it's like we say, go great or late. I don't know. I don't know if I would go great at quarterback, but Dak's fine.
Truthfully, there's a massive tier break after Trevor Lawrence to me, and for you probably Justin Fields. So there's just a tier break there, and I haven't, in any of my mock drafts that I've done, I haven't ended up with Dak, Deshaun, Daniel Jones, any of them kind of middle quarterbacks, because I think that the quarterbacks that we're about to talk about have the same upside as these guys, except for Tua, who we've been talking about, just because he's going so late. But not one mock draft have I been targeting Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones, just these kind of in the middle right there, because I feel like after Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, I'm just going to wait.
Yep, I agree. And I guess we'll just move on to the next. I got Daniel Jones at 11. Where do you got Daniel Jones?
I got Daniel Jones at 12.
It's funny. We're talking about Daniel Jones, and I was in we was having a big debate about his dynasty status, like with not us, but like the crew text messages, and some of them got Daniel Jones in the top 10. So I would be real interested to see where they got him in redraft right here, because if you got Daniel Jones in the top 10, you got Kyler way out of there. And then, I don't know. I just feel like I'm high on Daniel Jones, and I got him 11, and I like Daniel Jones. So to me, it's crazier to think that there's people out there that got like two. I know you don't feel that way about Deshaun, but
I would take Deshaun. I would take Deshaun over Daniel Jones. And
where you got Daniel Jones?
I got him at 12.
Okay.
I do have him higher in redraft. I do like the Darren Waller signing. I think that he has a lot more rushing upside than Deshaun at this point in his career.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones looks like a bum out there running, but every time you look at his stats, it's like 700 rushing yards every year. And that's just sneaky. Jalen Hurts just seems like he's a much better rusher of the football, but they end up about the same. And it's just sneaky rushing upside for me with Daniel Jones. And I look at him a little bit the same as I do Justin Fields, where I think there's a good touchdown progression coming. I think that he could throw more touchdowns this year than he did last year. So
the offense, to me, it just seems like it'll just take another step. Daboll had it rolling last year with these guys. Daniel Jones, I'm seeing reports of camp that he has more command of the offense, and honestly, I believe it, because Daniel Jones was never getting good reports all these years. So I think he's, this is just a lesson out there. I've never been one of these guys to when you draft these quarterbacks or whatever that, you got to play and they got to pan out now. And if some of these guys got to have time to grow. To me, it looks like Daniel Jones has had that time, and he looks like he's making a step up in his career. I think he's solid. His rushing outside is okay. Well, I say okay, but he had over 700 yards.
He was the QB9 last year with 15 passing touchdowns.
Yep. Upgrade at tight end.
That's all I got to say about Daniel Jones. If you want to take the risk on him, 15 passing touchdowns, ended up as QB9. He did have 7 rushing touchdowns, so 22 overall. But I mean, if Daniel Jones jumps up to 35 total touchdowns this year, or 30 total touchdowns this year, he's going to end up as a QB1 for your team.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely a nice pick right there. I'll say all those guys. Except, I mean, David Daniel Jones's upside to me is it's like you just said, he could get up there.
It's like his upside is probably like QB7 to me.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. All right, Kraft. This is where we kind of get down. If you want to just talk about some certain names, like I got a couple guys that I just want to bring up. I got them in the same tier. I got them ranked at I view a lot of these quarterbacks. I kind of put them in the same tier. I put them in the same category. One of them to me is these older guys, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford. I just want to know what you think about these guys because in best ball, if you get Cup in your little top 4 or 5 picks, I don't mind trying to get Stafford down there in the 13th round or whatever. I think here's what I think about the Rams. I know Cooper Kupp just had his little hamstring injury or whatever like that. We're pretty early in the camp and all that, but to me, it just seems like the Rams, they're not going to be that good. Their defense has gotten worse. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. So I don't mind taking a risk on somebody like Matthew Stafford in your leagues or whatever. I'm not saying Stafford's great, but I just think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. He's going to throw it to one man. They're going to be not exactly blowing people out. They're not going to be running the ball, running the clock out. They'll probably be playing from behind a lot. You know, I've never been a huge Stafford guy, but this one just seems might as well go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I like Stafford late in drafts too, and that's one of the main. You know, everybody talks about stacks. You know, you want to stack your receiver with your quarterback. I like them cheap ass stacks, man.
Right.
I like if you're going to stack Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, you're going to have to spend the first and second round on them. If you want to stack Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers or Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, you know, you can spend a first round pick or second round pick and then go down to about the 12th, 14th round and get your quarterback. But the last time Aaron Rodgers played with Nathaniel Hackett, and he was a bad head coach, it is what it is, but he was the QB6 on his MVP year, and he was the QB2 with Nathaniel Hackett. Aaron Rodgers, I don't have his exact ADP where he's going at quarterbacks, but I imagine it's at least QB15.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going I don't know the number, but Aaron Rodgers is going after Geno Smith. He's going before Jared Goff, Kyler, but before Derek Carr, before Matthew Stafford. And this is best ball, though, by the way. Redraft, Aaron Rodgers going down here and as quarterback. Whoo, man. Where's this guy going?
Late.
Oh, dang, he's going at quarterback 14.
Yep, quarterback 14.
Going ahead of Daniel Jones, Geno Smith, Jared Goff. Right behind Kirk Cousins. Behind Anthony Richardson, too.
Yeah, I do have Kirk Cousins ranked as my QB10 just based on the Vikings are going to throw the hell out of the ball, and their defense.
So much.
Their defense is fucking terrible. They were pretty much the worst passing defense, or the worst defense in the league last year, and they did absolutely nothing to fix it in the offseason. Yeah. And all they did was draft another receiver just to help them, you know, keep up the points with the other team. So Kirk Cousins is going to be throwing the hell out of the ball. The only thing I worry about Aaron Rodgers, truthfully, is the Jets' defense. If they are as good as they were last year, and if you go back to the Packers, the way Aaron Rodgers ran the offense, they're one of the slowest moving offenses every year. They don't run a lot of plays compared to, you know, like the Cardinals when they were with Cliff Kingsbury. They're just not a fast offense. They're not going to get off a lot of plays. So that's what worries me about Aaron Rodgers is just the Jets defense controlling the game. and Aaron Rodgers being, I don't want to say a game manager because he's not, but you know what I mean. He's not going to be asked to do as much as Kirk Cousins is going to be asked to do.
You know, Aaron Rodgers to me, and this is the thing, man. I've been so torn about the Jets because it's the Jets. You know what I'm saying? But Aaron Rodgers is definitely out there doing the right things. Like, he even took that pay cut. You know, they're trying to bring in more. You know, it just seems like Aaron Rodgers a little more happier out there. He's got Garrett Wilson out there. People are real high on Garrett Wilson. The weapons aren't bad, but you're right. I think just as far as real football goes, I just think the Jets, for them to compete and win games, they're going to take a different approach or not a different approach, but it's going to be a different approach than how you succeed in fantasy. Like, in fantasy, you want these shootouts and you want these quarterbacks with bad defenses. Like, the Jets defense was great last year, and they're going to be relying on that defense some more this year. So it's like you said, it's not like Aaron Rodgers is a game manager, but it's not going to be like how he was at Green Bay, where it's like Aaron Rodgers is taking over and him and Devontae Adams is making everything happen, and that's how they're winning.
He's going to be a little bit. Yes. He's going to be efficient, and Garrett Wilson's going to put up his numbers and everything, but, you know, they're going to run the football. They're looking in to bring in Dalvin Cook. They got Breece Hall if he's completely healthy. They're going to run a lot. They're going to rely on that defense. I mean, they were a good team last year with Zach Wilson at quarterback.
Right.
They don't need Aaron Rodgers to be MVP caliber Aaron Rodgers to win that division. I mean, it's a tough division, but you know what I'm saying?
It's tough.
It is a tough division. I think them Bills and Dolphins game might be a couple shootouts that Aaron Rodgers has good games, but you know, all their other ones, they really do have a tough schedule to start the year. So I like Aaron Rodgers as a late round quarterback pick, but I'm not in love with him as a late round quarterback pick because I know that the ceiling just isn't there, really.
Yeah. So those two guys, some veterans. All right, I got a couple other guys that I kind of put in the same little tier. That's Jared Goff and Geno Smith. I was kind of buying into, I think me and you even talked about it a few times, that we were kind of viewing Jared Goff as like a Kirk Cousins from here on out type deal. I still kind of buy into that. I even got them ranked side by side. I got Cousins at 13, Jared Goff at 14, Geno Smith at 15. Jared Goff, they upgrade, bad defense, good offense. Maybe Jameson Williams comes back. Amon-Ra's there. I would just say this. This is the only thing that worries me is like, it's the Lions, first of all. But maybe last year it was just like the perfect storm. Like everything just seemed like a lot of things were going the Lions' way last year. I'm just wondering if that happens again. Are we getting the same production from Jared Goff? Because Jared Goff was fucking good last year. There ain't no doubt about it. I think Jared Goff's probably going to be pretty good this year. A little hesitant. Heck, I'm hesitant on Geno Smith a little bit too. I mean, is that just like a 1 year type deal with Geno? But Jared Goff, Lions, if the formula checks out, seems like it's still going to work.
Man, I'm telling you, the more we get to talking about this, the more I'm thinking about taking an early quarterback. If I don't get a quarterback, I really like Jared Goff, but yeah. I heard a stat. I was listening to the footballers the other day. Jared Goff only averaged 11 points per game in away games last year. He was mostly a streamer. Yeah. You streamed him when he was playing at home. And we're looking at Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff. Geno's a little different to me because I think that he could get up there with the weapons he got. Yeah. But them other two guys, I got Aaron Rodgers ranked. I got Geno sandwiched in between Rodgers and Goff. Got Rodgers at 13, Geno at 14, Goff at 15. But the more we talk about it, the more I realize that if I get one of these quarterbacks, I'm going to be probably the team in a 12-team league where I'm probably going to have the worst quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And it's kind of getting me a little nervous.
Yeah, there's definitely a clear pocket where I want to draft quarterbacks. But maybe
you gotta have them, right? The more we talk about it, does it make you realize like you gotta have these guys? Like you cannot pass on Herbert and Fields in these fourth round. Like you cannot do it. You got to reach, right?
Heck, we was kind of talking about it, but a few weeks ago when we were talking about quarterbacks and stuff like that, it's like I was wondering myself if there was just like an overcorrection with the quarterback market. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm starting to see these guys go into mid-second, and I was just like, man, what the fuck? I mean, should I really be thinking about doing it? I just stand strong. I want to get those guys in like the 5th round. Throw two in there, like he's going in like the 9th.
It's just different this year, though. I feel like because there was one year I drafted Josh Allen in the 11 to 14th round or whatever.
Yeah,
because I thought he had the upside to finish in the top 10 or top 5, and he did. His first year where he took that massive step up, and I drafted him. But with these quarterbacks we're talking about now, I don't really see there's no rushing upside there. They're pocket passers. They have good defense. We know who Jared Goff is. Geno, like I said, I'm a little bit back and forth with him. But there's not really a high upside guys that we're talking about right here, right? It's really mostly just solid ass pocket passers. I don't see any of these guys finishing at number 1 on any given week.
Yeah. I think the markets might be a little bit fucked up too, because these guys like Geno Smith finished as QB5, Jared Goff finished as like QB7. Kirk Cousins was in the top 10 too. A lot of these guys got hurt, stuff like Kyler went down, stuff like that. I guess I'm
when you're playing Jared Goff, like I mentioned, you were talking about Joe Mixon in the last episode. When Jared Goff plays away games, you're losing.
Yeah. Does he feel like a top 7 quarterback?
He does not feel like a top 7 quarterback to me. I mean, Geno did. Geno was solid pretty much all year. He was just solid all year. He didn't have any. He didn't have any like breaking performances where he's finishing as a QB1. I don't think Geno ever finished as a QB1 all year long to help you really just beat your opponent that bad.
All right, so Kraft, any sleeper quarterbacks like is there anybody like maybe Anthony Richardson, something like that? I'm not sure where he's going in like 11th in best ball or something like that. Trey Lance still down there. I know you don't really buy into Trey Lance. Would you be willing to draft him? He's probably way off the board. Russell Wilson. Any sleepers out there where you're just like, he might be all right. I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him, maybe if I had to.
When we do our sleepers episode, I don't think any quarterbacks are going to be in it because, I mean, Anthony Richardson really and truthfully is the only one who has that potential to really, break the league. I mean, Jordan Love ain't going to do it. The Packers are going to run the football too much. Even though I want to believe in Jordan Love, he's not going to outperform Aaron Rodgers. And... you got Kenny Pickett going to take a step up. Russell Wilson could get back to the old days. Yeah. I mean, he's really the only, if you really think Sean Payton's going to turn it around, he might be the only one. But to go back on these guys that we've talked about, like after the top 12, Daniel Jones, he finished as a top 3 quarterback 3 times last year. So he has a little bit of upside with that rushing. And, Kirk Cousins never finished. Well, he finished one time as the number 3, but he never finished as a top 5 quarterback or a top 6 quarterback the rest of the year. So, these guys, they're not really going to win you weeks. So you got to hit. You really got to hit on your running back and wide receiver selections there in the first couple rounds.
Sitting here talking it out with you, Kraft, I realize I might have to take a quarterback a little bit higher because me and you both gonna be looking at the 5th round guys. These guys are gonna be gone.
I realized it too.
Me and you gonna be pushing up that market.
Time, I was thinking about it the whole time. Oh, I'm going to take a late quarterback in my redraft this year, and I'm going to just stack up on these running backs. But, man, there's just a massive teardrop to me. Like,
Yeah.
I more than any other year, after Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, it seems like the upside just isn't there with these guys.
Yeah. I'm with you. Clear tear break right there. But I do think there's just a couple guys that you could take a shot on. Like I'm on Deshaun. Me and you talked about Tua today. Daniel Jones,
Yeah,
you can talk me into
Tua
Daniel
is the
Jones.
one. I
Tua
think
is the
Tua
late
and Deshaun
one.
Tua and Deshaun are the ones. If you're going to take a shot on a guy who could, really finish in the top 5, they're the only two outside of the ones that are already there.
I think another one. I'm not saying they would break it, but like break the league, but maybe Ryan Tannehill. I could kind of toss him in the mix if the Titans were really about to, they're not rebuilding, they're actually winning games. It probably means Ryan Tannehill's playing pretty solid and he's probably running the ball.
And what do you think about Derek Carr with Chris Olave, Michael Thomas? Do you think there's any possibility that he's a top 12 quarterback at the end of the year?
I'm gonna say no, but I think Derek Carr is just solid. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not sexy either. You know what I mean? I am high on like Chris Olave,
and it's still a new system. I mean, quarterbacks really don't do all that great in a new system their first year. So, and who's the New Orleans head coach? He's a defensive guy anyway. So it's not like he's coming into a position where Andy Reid's the head coach or,
right?
Shanahan or anything like that. So he's not really on the list. I do like him as a super flex quarterback in Dynasty though. Not a bad choice.
Yeah, all these guys that we're kind of down. We're talking like we're down on them. Me and Krat, if redraft is one quarterback, and then if you're in a super flex, a lot of these guys we talked about are actually solid QB2s type deals.
Well, but let's put it out there for the Superflex redraft leagues because there's a couple of them. What guys in that range do you feel safe with? Would you prefer Matthew Stafford or would you prefer Aaron Rodgers?
I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers because Matthew Stafford does feel risky, but so people are playing redraft Superflex leagues.
Yeah, people play redraft Superflex.
Well, to me, it feels like in a redraft, you might, when you get your quarterback too. I wonder how a draft like that goes. I would love to see a Superflex redraft draft. Like, are these?
I mean, it's the same setup as I would imagine. It's the same setup as Dynasty, where the quarterback goes in the first round, and then you treat the rest of the draft like it's a normal draft, and you just take your second quarterback. Do you want to draft one early? You want to draft one late after them top guys go?
Well, I guess to me, I would say if I was going to get my second quarterback, and I'm just saying like say my top 12 guys, or like we always talk about Kirk Cousins and stuff, like he'd be a nice quarterback too. Jared Goff, nice quarterback too. Geno too, he's on that list. But I wouldn't mind going after one of these veterans. Like to me, it seems like you probably need to try to go for upside. I would even try to get Anthony Richardson as my. But the thing is, people are probably taking him as the quarterback. Their quarterback one, I bet. Yeah. So we might see that in one QB leagues.
like we said though, I think out of these guys, if Russell Wilson goes back to his old ways, maybe Russell Wilson is the guy that has the upside here in this back end. I got him ranked at where do you have Russ ranked? I got him at 18.
I got him at 20. I ain't really buying into Denver. I think even though they got Sean Payton up there, I think they would still figure out if Russell Wilson's bad. I think they would still go try to get them a quarterback and just keep Sean Payton up in there, and it just doesn't feel good to me.
I think Pete Carroll's a hell of a coach, man. Turned Geno Smith into Russell Wilson.
Pete Carroll's definitely underrated. It definitely proved something out last year. There ain't no doubt about it. Dumping that bum. He dumped this bum, got a haul for him. That's Dynasty. Man, Pete Carroll been listening to some Dynasty podcasts real quick. But Heck, I will stand true. I do think Ryan Tannehill might could offer you some value in your super flex. Even though I've been hating on him for a while, you know. What about old Trey Lance?
We didn't mention Kyler.
Didn't mention Kyler. I've been taking Kyler in best ball, and he's going as quarterback 19. I'm still drafting him just to see. You never know.
I mean, we ranked 24 quarterbacks in our top 24, and we left out. So there's 32 teams in the league. We left out 8. So all of us didn't rank Sam Howell. We didn't rank Desmond Ridder. We didn't rank Garoppolo, I don't think.
No.
Tannehill, I don't think made it. Mac Jones didn't make it. Baker didn't make it. So are there any of them guys? Do you think Sam Howell got it?
I'm gonna be honest, Kraft. I was giving Ridder and Sam Howell a chance, but when we did that quarterback numbers episode, and you talk about none of them jokers hit. Now I'm like, well, hell, I don't even want to touch them guys. I don't know.
Out on Ridder. I'm higher on Howell than I am. I'm completely out on Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I'm gonna, being a Falcons fan and how all Falcons fans just hate on quarterbacks all the time. I'm definitely gonna give Ridder a chance, and I am giving him a chance, but I'm with you, man. It doesn't feel promising.
I just don't think, some people realize how, the NFL works, and it doesn't matter if you're bad, like really bad. It only matters if you're half of the league bad. Yeah. There's a couple people fighting for their jobs every single year. They replace quarterbacks like crazy, and if the Falcons or the Commanders or whoever get a first-round pick and there's a quarterback there, it's going to be tempting for them to take it if one of them guys just play under league average. It don't even have to be like Zach Wilson bad. It just has to be, bottom half of the league bad.
Yeah. All right, so for everybody out there listening to our redraft content, this is what me and Kraft say. We almost are talking ourselves into going quarterback high. We're debating it. But that pocket right there's that pocket where those guys are going in the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds.
You gotta hit it.
Gotta capitalize on that. I'm gonna be trying my best to capitalize on one of them guys.
Don't be picking up Terry McLaurin over Justin Herbert. Don't do it.
Nah, man. You really can't. I'm just being honest. You can't do it.
Don't risk it. You can get somebody better later.
So, that little pocket, we always talk about these pockets. That's the pocket right there for the quarterbacks. So, Kraft, man, this quarterback episode, I'm not sure how long it went, but it felt like it was shorter than the running back episode. Anything to say to our people out there?
No, man, just keep coming back to us for some redraft stuff. We're going to hit y'all up with some of our favorite episodes. We got some sleepers coming up. We got some busts. We got some, and I think we did pretty good on our bust last year, by the way.
We did.
I think we had Levi on. He had Najee.
Got to bring him back on again.
Had Darren Waller. Darren Waller last year. I think I had Michael Thomas. I can't remember my other one. Yeah. And but we got a couple good ones for y'all coming up, and gonna hit some breakouts here also. So we got a good couple episodes coming up for you guys.
Yep, trying to do it all, man. We're gonna try to give y'all as much content as we can within the coming month. If you don't hear me, I'm busy. I'm moving, shit like that. But Kraft, man, he will be here, and maybe some other voices, because football season's here. People starting to get that itch now. It ain't like how last month everybody has just died down. It's calmed down. We back in it now, and we'll try to break down the divisions or conference. Try to give you a team by team breakdown. Let you really know who to go out there and get. But thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to see our quarterback rankings, running back rankings, wide receiver rankings, go give me and the Kraft Man a follow on Twitter or X, whatever the fuck they're calling it these days. I'm gonna just keep calling it Twitter. But with that said, we out.
Peace.